Hey y'all, please excuse the sound on my computer. I'm doing my best here to record a quick video on current events. I've got a helicopter overhead here in Los Angeles, so hopefully it's moving away. Anyway, I just returned from the Feast of Tabernacles. Today I was in Temecula, California. I did share some pictures. You can take a look on my channel and see. But anyway, I'm back. I had to come back early. Tomorrow is the last great day of the feast, so it continues. But anyway, this is a very significant appointed time, biblically speaking. Many believe that it symbolizes the time of the millennial reign of Jesus from Jerusalem, when the entire earth will be at peace, of course, because God will be tabernacling with us. He will be pouring his spirit out. The weapons will be beaten into plowshares. The lion will lie down with the lamb. Each person will be under his own fig tree on his own land or a portion of land, and no one will bother them or make them afraid. Those are some of the prophecies of the 1,000-year millennial rule. Anyway, it was fun over there, and I'm refreshed. I'm back home right now, and I wanted to cover some of the current events happening. The powers that be in the world are using this season too in a significant way. They are making peace deals, and this is the season of the Feast of Tabernacles, symbolizing the Messiah's reign over the earth from Jerusalem. So any deals they're making right now, peace deals and such, would be connected with that messianic reign. So here I'm going to play a little bit of this. This was actually a couple of weeks ago. Trump was talking about the peace deal he's making with Netanyahu for a ceasefire, and he was talking about it like, oh, I'm the only one that could do this, and it's a peace they haven't seen for, let's say, 2,000 years or so, since the first Messiah. And he also mentions, and this is an eternal peace. So basically, he's equating himself with the type of peace that the Messiah will bring. He's basically naming himself as that peacemaker. And then you have groups, Jewish groups in Israel or Jerusalem. I think it's called the Knesset is one of them, Knesset, that are actually naming him as a peacemaker and the Prince of Peace. So this is blasphemous. I'm going to go over a couple of scriptures to show you about where this is spoken about in the Bible, in Bible prophecy, where the son of perdition seats himself up as God, in the holy place. And also the beast will speak blasphemous things against God and will make war with the saints. So let's just see here what's going on, and then I'm going to read a couple of scriptures, and then I'm going to end this. Okay, here's Trump a couple of weeks ago. And just some background, I found this speech summarized, or parts of it, on this other guy's channel. I don't necessarily believe all of his views. I don't necessarily believe this is the beginning of the covenant with many. I think things are already well underway. So that's my belief. But anyway, let me play what Trump talks about here.
Which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible. Every single one of them. This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace, which people have really consideration in working with the nations that we're talking about, all of these nations.
So guys, I can't play too much of this video, obviously, but he goes on to talk about how he's the one who's done it, he's the only one who can do it, something like that. And just lifting himself up and saying that this is going to be the peace that they've had, the best peace they've had for 2,000 years, over 2,000 years, I guess, since Jesus first walked the earth. So, I consider this Trump lifting himself up like a Messiah, okay? And I'll point to the scriptures, I think, that point to this time. Here's one of them. And also, like I said, they're doing all this. In fact, I think they signed the end of the deal recently this week. I believe the UN also met during the Feast of Tabernacles, which began on the October 7th, the evening before sundown. I think the UN had their meeting, about peace. And then, of course, today, I believe, ended with the hostages being released back to Israel that they said that Hamas had taken. So, there are many people just praising this deal and what's happening. But I see it as Trump being seated in the position as a Messiah. That's the prophecy I see being fulfilled. So let me go over a couple of scriptures real quick. We have 2 Thessalonians 2. This talks about the day when the resurrection happens, when the saints are changed to eternal in the twinkling of an eye. And it's saying here in Thessalonians that day, that event of the change will not occur before first something else happens. So let me read it. It says, "Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God," or claiming to be God. I'm looking at the wording there. I do cover quantum changes that are going on with the Bible and in our world as part of the end time supernatural events. So from time to time I talk about that. I'm just looking at this wording here. So I don't know if this means that the son of perdition will actually sit in a physical building temple, declaring himself to be God, or if he will just be sitting in a place that's considered holy, sitting in a symbolic place that shows him as a figure of authority and rulership over Jerusalem, or will it be actually a physical temple? Okay, so let's look at this. Revelation 13. This talks about the rule of the beast, which is given its power from the dragon. It has 10 positions of authority or rulers that go with it. They trample the whole earth, cause all to take a mark, and all to worship the beast in one way or another, or be persecuted or killed. Okay, and here's what it says. The beast, he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. All who dwell on the earth will worship him. So there's just going to be massive deception. There will be very few who understand what's really going on, and who the son of perdition really is, who the Antichrist figure really is. Very few will understand that, at least in the beginning, because it says all will worship him, whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life. So anyway, peace and blessings to all of you as we end the Feast of Tabernacles. Let me know your comments below, and as usual, if you like, you can always give a reaction, a comment, or subscribe, all of which would help get this message out further. All right, love you all. Bye bye.